I've read over 100 books on personal finance and personal development, and today I'm going to share with you everything that I've learned and some of my favorite books. First, I just want to say I have not read many books this year, maybe like one or two, but that's because this year was full of action. Last year was full of knowledge, and I'm going to continue to learn as I'm growing, but I've realized you learn more from action. Personally, my favorite book is Russ's book, It's All in Your Head, and Think and Grow Rich. I really love Think and Grow Rich because when that book was written, it wasn't necessarily cool to be like an author. It's not that cool now, but it is a lot cooler now than it was back then. So you do see a lot of influencers putting their thoughts on papers just to make more money. To me, that's the wrong idea behind a book. So the modern day books, I'm kind of like, towards. I really like the older books because they are filled with a lot of knowledge. A couple key takeaways from all these books is you need to develop self-belief, self-confidence. You need to be able to properly communicate what you want to people. You need to actually listen and understand what the person is saying and then mirror what they're saying and keep the conversation going with open-ended questions. You need to know exactly where you're going and how you're going to get there and why, because if you don't know why, you will not get there. And all these books say it's a long journey. And a long journey is 5, 10, 15 years or a whole lifetime. A lot of these books teach you to be patient and ambitious. I believe in all of these. But the one thing that I do want to say is reading is just entertainment unless actions are done. It's the same thing as watching Netflix or a documentary or anything else. It's entertainment unless you have learned something and put it into action. So instead of reading 100 books, why don't you read 10 really good books that are going to help you in communication, sales, self-development, personal finance, etc. And then put those into action and then learn from your actions and then move forward. Instead of constantly trying to look for new knowledge on how to move forward, just keep pushing yourself forward and learn from the mistakes that are in front of you, because no two stories are the same. They're just sharing what worked for them. And you should read that and be like, oh, this may work for me. You try it and it doesn't work. And then you're like, oh, why didn't it work? And then you find what didn't work and you try it again. You're like, oh, that worked for me. I think a lot of people get into this mindset of like, I'm just going to read a cajillion books and then it's going to automatically make me successful. And that's not the case. That's where I was like 2 years ago. My thought process was to read all the books and I'm going to understand the universe and all the hidden secrets and everything else and all this crazy shit. But really, last year / this year, I was like, I need to stop reading books. I just need to do. I need to do as much as possible, because the only way that you truly move forward in life is by doing. Now, I took most of the principles that I learned in the book and I applied them to my life. I'm not going to tell you Think and Grow Rich is a Bible or everything in Russ's book is absolutely true. I think another barrier for people to get over it is it's a book. This is not law, it's somebody's opinion. Unless you're reading a book about how gravity works. But even science is somebody's opinion until it's proven wrong, and the goal is to continue to be proven wrong to learn more so we can expand. But ultimately, a book is just someone's opinion. It's not law. If somebody says you have to meditate 7 times on your forehead backwards, spinning clockwise to make $1 billion a year, maybe that's what they did, but you don't have to. That's just them sharing their experience. And I think that was another hurdle I had to get over myself. These books came out, some of them came out like 100 years ago, 50 years ago, 40 years ago. We're in 2023. Our life is completely different than when they wrote those books. So my takeaway is books won't make you do more. They won't even make you learn more unless you actually apply what you are reading and trying it and learn from your own mistakes. I do think reading books are good. I think when I have kids, I would pay them to read books because I do believe knowledge is powerful, but however, I believe action is way more powerful. And I see a lot of people like, oh, I read 100 books, or I read 50 books, and I read a book a week. And it's like, yeah, but you're still in the same spot from like 4 years ago. Stop reading the books and start doing.